our system remains constrained, unreliable and volatile. The power utility says load shedding is unavoidable. It has called on consumers to be patient.
We have developed a comprehensive maintenance plan, which we took to our board earlier this week. The board supported it. And this will enable us to perform the necessary rigorous maintenance on our power plants. And this entails, amongst others, that we will revert to the original so-called philosophy maintenance. And Jan will explain in his presentation more about that, but essentially what it entails is that instead of deferring maintenance, scheduled maintenance, instead of postponing general overhauls and midlife overhauls, we intend to return to the cycle of maintaining our plant as per the original equipment manufacturer's guidelines.
Jan Oberhola, Eskom's Chief Operating Officer, says load shedding is as a result of unplanned breakdowns.
We are experiencing still a number of unplanned breakdowns. And since we announced in the beginning of September the summer plan, we unfortunately had 21 days that we had to load shed. And mainly because we exceeded, that threshold that we set ourselves for unplanned, the UCLF's unplanned breakdowns of 12,500 megawatts. Then also, during this period, unfortunately, because the system's been constrained, unpredictable, unreliable, we had to postpone some of the planned maintenance, where we planned specifically during the quiet period over the Christmas season to increase our planned maintenance. Because of the system constraints, we had to cut down, unfortunately, on that.
Eskom's CEO Andre de Ruyter says the focus now is to restore the trust that many people have lost on Eskom. He says they will also have to address corruption and carry out organizational restructuring.
We are very aware of the fact that any traces of corruption still remaining within Eskom will hinder our efforts to turn around the organization and also impact negatively on our finances. We are therefore accelerating our efforts to step up lifestyle audits and forensic investigations, and we will roll that out to certain areas where we believe we are at risk. We are pursuing civil claims to recover monies from entities and individuals who have benefited from contracts entered into unlawfully with Eskom in the past.
Eskom is in the process of appointing boards for the 3 Eskom divisions. The appointments are expected to conclude within the next few weeks. Nothando Makutulela, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Well, for a little more on this story, we're now joined by energy expert Chris Yelland. Chris, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Andre de Ruyter looks like a man in charge today.
Yes, baptism of fire for him in his first major public appearance today. What with load shedding starting last night and continuing stage 2 today and for the rest of the weekend. But I think he put on a brave face and gave us a plan which they intend to implement what they call philosophy maintenance, which is reverting back to the maintenance prescribed by the original equipment manufacturers. And not skimping on maintenance, not passing by the deep midlife refurbishments that are required, which have all happened over the last years due to the shortages of generation capacity, largely caused by massive delays in Medupi and Kusile. So they plan to do more maintenance. They plan to increase maintenance levels from currently around about 5,000 megawatts to around about 8,000 megawatts, which is going to mean an extra 3,000 megawatts coming off the grid, which is going to mean much more regular load shedding for the future.
Did you hear the right things being said?
Well, I think there's a growing realism that you cannot just carry on deferring maintenance and avoiding midlife refurbishments in order to keep the lights on at all costs. Because there is a cost. These things come back to haunt you in future. And it's really short-term thinking to skimp on maintenance. One has to do this regularly. One has to follow the recommendations of the original equipment manufacturers, and I think that's what they are beginning to realize and put their mind to going forward. But I must say, the best I think that can be hoped for by doing proper maintenance is to keep the energy availability constant and not let it, energy availability factor constant and not let it decline further. But that still means it's at a very unacceptable state. So the solutions, maintenance produces diminishing returns for very old, damaged plant. And at some point, people have realized that it's not economical to keep that plant going, and you need new plant. And new plant that works, not like Medupi and Kusile, which is dragging the whole company down. One needs new generation capacity that can deliver on time, on budget, short delivery times, flexible to meet the changing demand patterns of the future.
So they're talking about 18 months of load shedding, but depending on who else you talk to in the energy sector, some say it could be as many as 5 years we'll see these kinds of disruptions. What's your guesstimate about the likely scenario?
Well, there are short, medium and longer term interventions in bringing new generation capacity on stream. Of course, one needs to continue with maintenance just to keep things constant and keep things going. But as I say, ultimately it boils down to new generation capacity. And the quickest short-term options are for what we call embedded generation embedded on customers' premises. Solar PV on mines, on factories, on plants, on buildings, farms, can deliver short-term power in the range 6 months to 18 months. Longer than that, there are grid utility scale renewable energy projects can deliver power in 3 years. And beyond that, there is gas to power, which can deliver power in 5 years. The longer term options are coal and nuclear. I mean, Medupi and Kusile, just to give you an example, Kusile Power Station has been under construction since 2008. It's now 2020. That's 12 years. And only 1 out of 6 generation units is delivering commercial power at the moment. So I think you can see how long these coal projects take, and nuclear is as bad, if not worse. So those are not solutions in the next 10 years. So we have to look to short, medium, and solutions that can really deliver reliably.
All right, so Andre de Ruyter, of course, when he was appointed, a lot of people raising questions about whether he was the right person or not. What could be some of the quick wins for him that might be able to calm any nerves?
As I say, the quickest thing that they could do, what they have to do and what they are doing right now, is focusing on maintaining the performance and trying to improve the performance of the existing plant, because that's already built. So if you can just get it operating a little bit more reliably, that's a quick win. But that's not a solution in the long term, because we need new generation capacity. And I think that the short and medium-term options are not in Eskom's court. Those are in the court of the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, Department of Finance, to unlock these bureaucratic regulations that are holding back the private sector and customers of electricity from becoming part of the solution. So those solutions come from policy and from regulatory reform, which is quick and easy if there's the political will.
All right, Chris, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much indeed.